lose.
Past 2 weeks, or 1 week, I guess.
Holy shit, Kevin!
Wow! What?
You get this only nowhere else but the Kevin is after that. Kevin, I'm not gonna lie.
Now we're looking at this. A carved penguin. There it is.
Oh no. Are the O's fine? Are the Orioles fine, Kevin?
I was so embarrassed.
Okay. The Orioles stole it. That game was stolen. It was stolen from them, then they stole it right back.
What?
Oh my God.
Wait, what's going on? What is happening?
What is going on? Was it a diving play? He bobbled the ball.
What is happening? Are they challenging it? No. Other wall. No.
Kevin, I don't know what you saw, how much you saw. I've been chugging champagne. Sure, I spilled a lot, but what a game, man.
He will be the legendary
Bird fish!
How about that?
Bird fish fans, stand up. We did it.
What can I say? What can I say?
I mean, Trevor Rogers, the worst trade in Orioles history. That Trevor Rogers, the guy they should have DFA'd before he ever got to Baltimore. That Trevor Rogers, 8 shutout innings. 8 shutout innings for Trevor Rogers as the Orioles get a big win against the Texas Rangers, 6-0, in quite honestly, probably up there for most complete games you'll see from the Orioles this season. I mean, everybody got on, I believe everybody got on base at least once. Let me check. Yeah, everyone got on base at least once. Actually, everyone got a hit except Gunnar Henderson. You'll never guess who I bet on to get a hit. So this is just as complete. I mean, you get 3 hits from Holiday, 2 from Laureano, none from Gunnar, 1 from Gary, 1 from Ramon, 1 from Cowser, 1 from Mayo, 1 from Mullins, 1 from Trump. I mean, this whole lineup absolutely on fire. And yeah, Laura, he did. Gunnar got the intentional walk. I mean, and then you want to talk about Jackson Holiday, 4 RBI game. Chadwick Trump. Listen, I'm going to say it. I'm probably going to say Chadwick Trump a lot, and he'll probably be the only player that I refer to as their full name at all times because Chadwick is too cool of a name for me not to say anytime I bring him up. So Chadwick absolutely start the rally off. 1 hit, 1 run. This might have been, I mean, screw Holiday, 4 RBIs, hits the 3-run homer, 3-hit game. Trevor Rogers, 8-inning shutout. Colton Cowser bunting. I mean, you could not have walked the ball out more perfectly down the third baseline. As picture perfect as it gets the infield single. Colton Cowser. Hey, we've talked about how many times on this show alone that we want to see the Baltimore Orioles play a little bit more small ball. Maybe get some runners over, move some guys in. That's what they did today. And hell, you do what Colton Cowser did. You go to give yourself up and you lay down a picture-perfect bunt. You might find yourself sitting on first base. All around a fantastic day for the offense. They hit Patrick Corbin the most runs he's given up this season. And if you didn't watch the game, Patrick Corbin, lefty. Orioles with another impressive game against lefties. Just saying, Orioles starting to fight their demons, overcome some of these battles. And, I mean, hey, we talked about it, especially have they announced the Rangers? Have they announced a pitcher for tomorrow yet? I know it was undecided. No, it's still undecided. So we know DeGrom goes up against Sugano on Wednesday. So we don't know who pitches tomorrow for the Rangers, but maybe they put out an opener. I don't know who they plan on starting. Maybe this is something where it's like a Trevor Rogers thing and everyone in Texas knows who's starting, but we haven't seen it. But, man, big win. Big win for the Orioles and especially the offense to come out there, hit lefties like that, 6 runs. I think Coach Sharkey talked about Kobe Mayo. All right, listen, here's what we're going to talk about with Kobe Mayo. Everyone's going to talk about the single. Everyone's going to talk about, hey, small ball, get the run in, just put it in play, get a run in. That's all good and fun. That's all good and fun. Cool. Kobe Mayo was making some picks today on defense that I was standing up in front of the television. Like Kobe Mayo was saving some throws today, some big boy picks at first base to help Trevor Rogers out. And that's what got me fired up. Yeah, he got a single. Yeah, he got an RBI. That's stuff we expect from Kobe Mayo. Glad he went out there and looked great offensively. But, man, was I getting fired up watching that. And, yeah, the final – I was getting fired up watching this man scoop the ball at first base. I mean, Kobe Mayo, talk about, kind of coming into your own offensively and defensively. This was one of his better days. He looked fantastic in the field. He got me fired up. And honestly, that's the next step for him. I've never questioned his ability offensively. We all know, and if you've followed this for the last, I guess, year now, you know I'm a pretty big Kobe Mayo guy. I think he has the ability to be the same superstar level offensive talent as a Jackson Holiday. I truly believe that. And I think if they give him, like they did Holiday, every day at bats, I think he's going to prove people right who believed in him. So I've always been a massive believer in his offensive ability. The biggest question was always going to be, where does he end up fitting? I mean, drafted as a shortstop out of high school. He's got too big of a body to play there. Wasn't the best defensively at third. Maybe first base is where he finds his own. And if he can continue to play like he did tonight, I'm very okay with Kobe Mayo long-term being the first baseman for the Baltimore Orioles. Very okay with that. And real fast, speaking of just kind of positions and stuff, I understand that maybe the Orioles, they get 2 injuries to catcher. 2 injuries, 2 injuries to the catcher. Sammy Basallo, they're still not bringing him up. Did the baseball gods just decide that they were going to try to injure every single Orioles catcher until they physically had to bring Basallo up? I mean, can we not hit Gary Sanchez in the hand? I'm not even if you know this show, I'm not the biggest Gary Sanchez fan. But, like, could we not lose another catcher? Like, is that an option to skip that part where we would lose our third catcher in, 4 games? Like, we're not even running out. Like, we're running out of bodies at the catcher position. Like, if Gary would have went down, I would have had to change my tone completely and it wouldn't have even been hey, like, it's time for Samuel Bassell. I would have had to be like, physically, we have to. We need a body behind. Like, we can't just throw to the ump. Yeah, that was. Westbrook's still a little banged up. Adley on the IL. This is what we get. But real fast, before we continue with the show, hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Walter, let's bring these up real fast. Really appreciate you. Yeah, it's nice seeing Rogers hitting 94-95 after being 91 last year. Yeah, so tonight, let's actually look at this. Let's go right over to our friends at Baseball Savant. And where's the Oriole game? Let's see. Trevor Rogers right now. Let's look at some pitch velos. So Trevor Rogers tonight hit 96.3, 96.1, and 96.0. 3 times he hit 96 miles an hour. We want to talk about things that are difference makers for him. You go out there and you look at him when he's throwing 91 versus 96, because I'm telling you, he gets away with a lot more, and he's a lot more dominant at 96. A lot more dominant at 96. And the Big Fizz trivia team named tonight at a Dallas bar. Jackson Holliday's biggest fan. Love it. Hopefully, you guys also can kick ass tonight like Jackson did. So, I don't think so. No. You would think Shigano. Damn, is he? What's Eflin sitting at these days? When did Eflin last pitch? What's that? When did Zach Eflin last pitch? Yeah, he might be. He really might be, which. Let's see, what's Zach Eflin sitting at? Yeah, I don't think it's Zach Eflin. Yeah, it ain't Zach Eflin. Zach Eflin's sitting 92. Yeah, so it's got to be. It's got to be Trevor Rogers. If Trevor Rogers is hitting 96, especially for a lefty, lefties don't throw hard. So if you have a lefty hitting 96, that's game changing. So if Trevor Rogers would like to sit 96 miles an hour, sit in that 94, 95 range, but top at 96, it's going to be fun. We're going to have some fun in Baltimore because that'll play. That'll play, I'll tell you that. I mean, how big, for multiple reasons, when we talk about this Trevor Rogers start, how big of an impact it had on not only, confidence maybe for Trevor Rogers, but this bullpen. I mean, this bullpen was starting to get gassed. Yesterday, used a lot of guys, didn't really want to, but you had to. Day before, obviously, you had to use a lot of guys. And it just felt like while they weren't gassed, they were on the verge. If you had 1 or 2 more tough bullpen days, that was big. That could have really hurt. And then, 5 pitches for Kittredge. Hello. goodbye. I mean, just beautiful there. And it really does have such a big impact on the bullpen's performance because we've seen when this bullpen is rested, they are up there for some of the best. I mean, I think in June before the big blow up, they were like the third best in baseball in June. They were playing lights out because they were rested, because starters were going 6 consistently. They were going 5 consistently. Tony Manzolino's letting starters, that leash is a little bit longer. I'm not sure. I think under Hyde we see Trevor going 8 tonight. I still think we see him going 8, but maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he pulls him after the 7th. But Tony Manzolino is definitely letting these guys go a little bit longer. I think it's really helping the bullpen overall. And to be honest, it's shown to pay dividends. I mean, when this bullpen's rested, you can tell a difference. When Sir Anthony, when Brian Baker, when these guys are going out there rested, Felix, good morning, good afternoon, good night. 3 batters, 3 outs. See you later. That's what this bullpen can be when it's rested. I mean, you look at the bullpen, the players in the bullpen. I mean, obviously you'll get Cano back in a little bit. Hopefully he's just rested. He can kind of get mentally right. But overall, this is a big game for not only Trevor Rogers, but for the bullpen, because this gives them an opportunity to get right, to get rested, and to continue to kind of reestablish roles a bit. Because when you get out of rhythm, when you get, a bunch of guys have been used, now suddenly, I mean, Scott Blewett was pitching 2 innings in the 7th and 8th as the long guy because that's all you had rested. So now when everyone's rested, you can get back into those roles of, okay, you're going the 6th, you're a 6th, 7th inning guy, you're a 7th, 8th inning guy. Obviously, Felix is the 9th. But as you can get guys rested, they can fall into their roles. And with them being able to fill their roles properly, it allows other guys to not have to step in. It allows other guys to sit there and not have to wonder, okay, do I have to mentally prepare for this or for that? Or what if I have to come in now? What if I have to come in later? If hey, this ball game gets to the 7th inning, we're going, Baker Dominguez, Soto Baker. Then we're handing it to Felix. Everyone knows their roles. You mentally start preparing, and man, this bullpen starts firing on all cylinders. So, beat up. I like this thing. How many people will admit they were wrong about Elias' moves? He whiffed on getting an ace this offseason. I get it. Got Soto, Sir Anthony for Hayes. And, he also gave up, why am I missing? The prospect for Soto, the pitching prospect. That's going to annoy me now. The lefty. Seth Johnson. Was it Seth Johnson? Can someone in the chat remember? Was it Seth Johnson? I'm going to have to look this up now. It was Seth Johnson. Proud of myself there. Also gave up him, but yeah, Rogers for Norby Sauer. Eflin was a great deal, although I feel like those guys are going to become. I forgot they gave up Moises Chase. But yeah, I mean, hey, Sir Anthony and Soto have been 2 of your most reliable guys this year. You then have, all right, some people, I understand it. I'm not going to sit here and say that the Orioles, like I joke about it and stuff. I'm not going to say the Orioles have suddenly won the Trevor Rogers deal. I'm not going to say, it was a fantastic deal now. We have to wait for probably 2 more years to genuinely know what happened, to who won, who got the fair. Because you can also look at, Stowers is now struggling. Norby's just been serviceable at best. Yeah. We're going to figure out in 2-3 years what actually is happening with the Trevor Rogers deal. But right now, it's not wrong to feel better about it. Like, it's not gonna. It doesn't hurt to suddenly be like, oh shit. Like, maybe this isn't the worst deal in Orioles history. I think it is having that open mind of, hey, this is going to be a long haul. This is a marathon for this type of deal. I mean, Trevor Rogers, he's what, 26 years old? Is that 26, 27? 27 years old. I mean, yeah, I think this is the funniest part about this. It comes up just because, of course, they're always so linked. Trevor Rogers is the same age as Kyle Stowers, and he's 2 years older than Connor Norby. So it's not like we were giving up, these guys that were 21. And yeah, it's one more contract year. They're going to have to figure that out next year. But I think over the next year and a half, we're really going to find out a little bit about Trevor Rogers because, man, let me tell you, he sits 91 consistently. We're going to, we might be looking like we did last year, but 96 is a little different. So let's continue the conversation. Joining me, my co-host, Kevin Ostreicher. Kevin, that happened.
Usually when we say that, it's a bad thing.
Yeah. I literally, like when we don't have any words for how they just blew a game, but this time, for the first time, probably as a positive, that happened.
I have no words, and for once, I'm kind of happy I don't have words because of what we saw. I mean, and is he just gonna get rewarded with being sent back down?
I swear, Kevin, there's no way. There is no way, but it would be the most Oriole thing to do.
Bad.
I mean, yeah, and he threw 96 plus 3 times on the gun. So he registered 3 pitches above 96, where he was sitting around 91 last year, Kevin. And I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if it's you or, if it's just me, but Kevin, Trevor Rogers throwing 96 looked a little better than him throwing 91.
Well, it's going to have better results than throwing 91. I mean, geez, keep it up. Like, keep it up. And, I love the fact from an offensive perspective, everyone had a hit but Gunnar, but, Gunnar got on with the hashtag angry walk. So, everybody gets on base. Jackson is doing Jackson things. So another all-around great win, and we're living in a reality right now where, man, Trevor Rogers is the savior, Charlie Morton is the savior, and Zach Eflin is the one that's struggling. Like, what a reversed, weird baseball Orioles world that we're in right now. I guess I'll take it in a way, in a sense. Like, at least tonight I'll take it.
Kevin, is this not been – well, let's talk about Trevor Rogers' recent – just the 3 starts he's had. Has there been a more polar opposite pitcher? Because I'm not going to – listen, I'm not shitting on him for this Rays when they lost 8-0. He went 2 1/3, 3 earned runs. He was getting squeezed a little bit. There were some missed opportunities. That's a whole different story. But look at this. So he throws 8 shutout tonight on 3 hits. His first start of the season when he gets called up against Boston, 6 1/3 shutout, 2 hits. I mean, if you combine those, so let's take out the horrendous Rays game. Yes, I know it still happened. Not saying you can just erase that. But that's 14 1/3 innings with just 5 hits and no earned runs in 2 starts this year for Trevor. I mean, we want to talk about, yes, the Braves game, it happened. You can't, be like, oh, we'll just eliminate. I hate when people do that on Twitter, so I'm not going to, sit here and be like, oh, well, you can just do that. But if you look at just those 2 of 3 starts, it hasn't just been good. It's been dominant. And, that's the thing is, we've seen guys come up, Kevin, and they'll have a good start or 2, and you're like, oh, okay, they've had 2 good starts, but then they had a bad start in the middle, and you're like, okay, we'll see what happens. I don't feel that about Trevor because the good has been so good. And the bad wasn't really that I felt like, oh, Trevor Rogers is outmatched. He went, I think it's like 5 up, 5 down the first, or like 3 up, 3 down. Then you got the next guy. And he felt like he was in control. And then like the wheels just kind of fell off. But I don't know. It does seem like something's different this time around with Trevor Rogers.
Yeah, we know he worked on some stuff in the offseason and, tried to better his game. And I think he deserves a spot in the rotation. Like, I think you should give him, at least 3, 5, 10 more starts. Just let him settle into a groove here. And look, every start's not going to be perfect. The 2 sandwiched in between that Tampa game were practically as perfect as you could get, almost, with how he pitched. But like, the Orioles need consistency, and it's great to say it that Trevor has given them that for the most part when he has been up. And with the increase in velocity, like, give him a spot. I mean, you don't have to do all this, send him down, bring him up, send him down. Just give him a spot. Like, he deserves it. And I mean, I'm happy that it's happening, with all these guys. You're not expecting perfection. And like I said, Trevor hasn't necessarily given that to you, but it's been a vast, massive improvement over what we've seen, not just from his season last year, but really since the All-Star appearance. Like, it's been downhill for Trevor since then. And the fact that he is getting the velocity up, working on stuff, grinded to get to this point here. I mean, I give him a lot of credit, because the criticism last year was rightfully deserved. He did not pitch well for them. And with what they gave up, it was bad. And, I'm not saying that trade now with these 3 starts is a home run win for Mike Elias. We are definitely not in that territory yet. Not, depending on what happens with the 2 guys in Miami and Trevor, I'm not sure we ever will be. But they just need him to be consistent. And so there's an opportunity with Cade down right now to have that spot, not feel like your time is coming to an end and then, we'll see what they do with Cade. Like, I don't think that's a surefire, hey, he's in your rotation if Trevor continues to pitch like this. So, I mean, yeah, it was an awesome start. Like, it just, you said it, domination all the way around.
Yeah, and it was quick. I mean, I think, here, let me try to go through. Do I have his inning by inning? I was trying to look at, I think at one point, at multiple innings under 10 pitches. I mean, he was just mowing them down with ease, and it was, in a lot of ways, it kind of reminded me at times of like a Sugano, where he's just like, hey, I'm going to throw you a ball that you're going to miss, and you're going to just hit a weak fly ball to the center fielder. And like first pitch of the at bat, it would be like pitch, fly ball out, takes a pitch, fly ball out. Yeah. It was just, 6 first pitch outs. Like, you want to stay in a game, pitch it. This is what I'm talking about. 6 first pitch outs is massive for a starter of his, like, that wants to especially help the bullpen right now. That's how you go 8 innings. If those 6 outs go from 6 1 pitch each to just simply 3 pitches each, he only goes 7. Like, that's the difference. That's a big difference. That's a 12 pitch difference there.
Yeah, and the fact that he was able to go 8, and obviously Kittredge gets the 9th, you save your bullpen, right? And that's something that we talked about these last 2 series, Tampa and New York, about them not being able to do that. The Rangers, it's not like they had to use, and shout out Jacob Webb, by the way, but like, it's not like, they had to use a ton of guys because Corbin was still able to give them 5, which, isn't great, but isn't terrible. Rogers going 8 puts you in so many different great positions where, you can use Blewett if stuff goes haywire tomorrow for a long outing and not have to feel rushed. Soto can come on to, like, your rest sheet, Zach, that you'll put out tomorrow. Yeah, it's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, we've only day I've missed since I've started back was actually Sunday, because I was at softball and had the realization at about 11 o'clock that the game started in 30 minutes, and I was nowhere near. I was like,
that's not your fault, though.
I was like sitting there, and I was like, oh, it's an 11 a.m. game.
Yeah, that's not your fault. That's not your fault.
So ever since I said I'm doing it, though, we've been every game. It's been every game. So we're back.
Love it, man. Love it.
So this was, I mean, we want to talk about, I've said about the bullpen, everything. Kevin, I kind of feel bad because, like, Jackson Holiday 3-hit game, 4 RBIs. He gets three-fourths of the way to a cycle. Only he gets a homer, the double, and the single. And no one's going to talk about it because of Trevor Rogers. Yeah, I mean, Jackson Holiday had a hell of a game. I mean, he just looks. Tony Manzolino said after the game, he said he's the leadoff hitter for at least the next 5 years. Hope it's 15, but that's next 5 years. It's Jackson Holiday's.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we have been saying for. I don't even remember. We talked last year about it, where we felt like Jackson was that guy. They were putting Mullins in there. They were giving other guys opportunities. Gunner, everybody felt like Jackson was the guy, going to be the guy eventually, and it fits him really well. His ability not just to get on base, but even when your 8-9 guys get on, you want Jackson in that spot. Someone who can drive him in. And, we're seeing that with him. It's been up and down for Jackson at times this year. He's had a lot of awesome moments, and he's certainly come into his own in a lot of different ways. He's still so young and has a lot more growing to do, which is also really exciting. But, I mean, this is what I remember us talking about it last year. Like, this is exactly what we envisioned, and I'm really glad it's come to fruition.
Yeah, it is. And it's been awesome to just kind of see him get comfortable, get every day at bats, and finally, once he's gotten consistent playing time, kind of take off into the player we thought he would be. Also, this is 2 hours and 8 minutes. Kevin, I originally set the show for 10 p.m. just out of habit. Like I put it for 10:05 because I couldn't fathom that I was setting it for 9:05. Like. I was like, what do you mean it's only 9:40 or 8:40 and the game's over? I was like,
can't we just do this? Can't we do this every night?
Yeah.
Can't we do this every night?
You know what? 6-0. If we go 6-0 wins with 8-inning shutouts from the starters, do it every damn night.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it.
Awesome. Kevin, you want to get in some call-ins?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Also, I'll put the call-ins link in the chat. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Live after every single Orioles game. A lot more fun though, Kevin, when we're talking about Trevor Rogers. No runs, 8-inning shutouts. It's always fun.
Yeah, agreed.
Gosh. Oof. Kevin, I'm gonna be honest with you. This was I'm happy for Trevor Rogers. He needed this.
Yeah. You gotta be happy for Trevor Rogers.
I feel like this could actually be one of those starts where, obviously Boston, but for him to come out at home and continue it. I like it.
Love it. Gotta love it.
I love it. Let's move into some call-ins. We got our guy Jake up first. Jake, what's going on?
Jake, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Better after that game, man.
You're doing a lot better today.
I know. I tell you what, that was a quick one too. I was at the gym, and then I kept refreshing, and I was like, man, it's already in the fourth.
Yeah.
I mean, kid was like you were saying, Zach. He was just, he was shoving, and it's like any lefty. Hold on, bud. Chill. Any lefty, sorry, that's like half a grain of salt, half his weight in whatever you want to say, is going to be somewhat effective in the majors these days. And if he's throwing 96 topping out, that's a game changer.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, massive game changer. I mean, that lefties do not hit, those high velocities like a big time righty could. So for you to be able to throw that lookout of some velocity from the left side, that in and of itself will have hitters struggling. I mean, that by itself can really mess with guys.
Yeah. I mean, and he was challenging him. I mean, I was kind of going back and forth between radio and the live stream, or I wasn't watching DirecTV, and And he's like, I mean, he was challenging people, and that's like half the battle I feel with some of these guys. Like I remember when I went to the game that Grayson pitched against the Rangers 2 years ago in the playoffs, the second game, the one where we had a moment where we thought we had it. Like, yeah, I was in the flag court with a buddy of mine. We came up from Fort Bragg, and we were like, man. Actually, there's a few people from Fort Bragg actually who were like Orioles fans who were just like, well, it may not happen again, so we all might as well just go. But no, I mean that was like I bring it up because it was like there were times where it felt like Grayson was. I mean, might have been a rookie then. Was just like not willing to challenge. I think it was like Seager, who was like he had like 5 or 6 walks that game. It was some record that they had set. Whereas tonight, and I bring it up because tonight I was like, oh, Rogers is pitching like he read, like he was in Norfolk like for the last several months, just reading the tweets, just reading people just like shitting on him, shitting on Elias for like trading for him. Norby was doing anything that Norby did, anything or any of the boys did, like was against him, and he's just like, okay, everybody says I suck. Like I'm worthless. I'm only throwing 90 miles an hour or whatever it was. There was a minute in Norfolk he was getting tagged.
Yeah, I mean, especially last year it was.
And last year, yeah,
it was. And I mean, he didn't look too great to start this year either. I mean, it started to get back together, but no, I agree. It wasn't like he was going out there suddenly. Just it was like, oh, something clicked in the minor. It was a struggle.
Yeah,
it was a struggle even for that.
Yeah, it was. It's so weird because we get these guys in. Like he was having a struggle last year. It was 2 years ago. We had old boy from the Cardinals, and now he's back with the Dodgers again, or the Tigers. Sorry. Flaherty.
Yeah.
Which he kind of pissed. Maybe I was reading between the lines a little bit too much with that cat because in the offseason he was pretty miffed about how like he was not getting the contracts he wanted. Like it just wasn't coming his way like he was expecting it to. And that's when some of the players would they love saying that collusion word whenever like it starts getting a little twisted out there. AKA nobody knows where their money's coming from because these regional sports networks are dying. Hopefully Madison's doing well, but like they're all dying, and so nobody's willing to give you the money you want right now. But that's neither here nor there. But he was just kind of like, just like whenever anybody would bring up Baltimore, he was just kind of like, I don't know, just kind of the vibe I got was like, yeah, he was like, oh yeah, we miffed him or something. I'm like, dude, you pitched one good game in Toronto, and then you just like laid an egg for the rest of the season. That was on you, dog. I'm glad that the Tigers have a great pitching department, whatever you want to call it. They got you back on.
Yeah. No, it was. Yeah, I agree. Though it was he came out that first game in Toronto. He looked fantastic, and you're like, okay, and he had a little extra. That was the thing. He had a little extra in it, and it made it, seem like okay, he's this is who he is. Wasn't who he was.
No,
wasn't who it was.
No, not at all. Not at all. And, I just hopefully Trevor Rogers can really keep at this speed. I mean, I get where all this analytics are. On one hand, we have the analytics saying, like, hey, if you go up 1 mile an hour, you get this much off of a batter's batting average, or likelihood to barrel the ball. But then on the other side, we're all like, man, these guys are burning out left and right with Tommy John surgeries, and they're redlining. I just heard Kurt Schilling the other day on a podcast talking about kind of like, hey, what's your perspective on this as as a member of the Hall of Very Good that kind of guy. And he's just like, guys just don't know how to pitch anymore, and they're just redlining their arms. Like he goes, I wouldn't last 8 years, and I think he did like almost 18 years, something like that. Like, and he's just like, I think he said something very similar to Schmaltz. He said he said it a different way, and I forget, but he basically said, I have 3 in the chamber. I have 3 in the chamber where I'm going to dial it up on you. Red line a pitch because I got, it's the 6th or 7th inning. I got a guy on third and no outs, and I got to get a strikeout. I'm throwing it as hard as I can. But after 3, I'm done. He's like, I have no idea how these kids are like keeping their elbows together because they are just tossing.
Well, unfortunately, they're not. Like they're not.
It's no regard. It's it's so many of the guys. Yeah, everybody says it. It's like there are just throwers. They're not pitchers. They're just boom, boom, boom. By the time they hit 2 years in the majors, if they get there, their elbow is just so cooked and their arm is so cooked. Like, it's why it starts at a super young age.
Yeah.
And that's why these guys get to the major. It's taxed over, but the only way, or at least one of the only ways that you can get to where you want to go in the majors is teams aren't going to look at you if you're throwing 89 and you can dot it.
I know
teams want the 100 mile an hour, the next 103 mile an hour thrower. And so you have to do it if you want to get there. And that's why it's all so backwards. Like there has to be a happy medium where these teams understand that, like, for example, like Tomo's not going to blow 100 by you at like any time, right? But
no,
he is a pitcher. He knows how to get to his spots. Yes, sometimes he has more success than other times, but it just feels like there has to be some medium between like a Tomo type pitcher and a guy that just throws 103 miles an hour with no control.
And to piggyback on what you just said, Kevin, like that also is dangerous for the hitters. I mean, how many hitters have we seen? I remember last year, it felt like it was just like a string of hitters, lefties. I mean, including our boys, just getting nailed in the hand or various places because those curveballs.
Hell, today it happened.
Yeah.
With Sanchez. I mean, it's just.
And the players, I mean, I think I can't remember who it was. It wasn't on the Orioles. It was another player last year saying he was frustrated more than anything. Like, I mean, it's almost going to cause a fight, but it's weird because it's like, I know you weren't throwing at me. There was no malice behind it. But hey, dipshit. If you can't throw it inside at me to brush me off the plate without like trying to end my year, like then don't do it. Like you're just like you're saying, Kevin, you're a tosser.
Every time you throw inside, it's at my head and hands. That's different than you trying to brush me off the plate.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree. I mean, I don't know. I'd be curious how they're going to change all this. So I think I think probably it's fitness maybe and some of the stuff because I remember Roger Clemens was like apparently he was a monster back in the day. His legs were like tree trunks, and he was just like I threw for my legs, like it saved my arm, like and all these. I hope Povich gets in the weight room or eats a biscuit or two. Like I appreciate the string bean. He actually needs to be if he becomes a reliever, my man needs to come out. His song has got to be Rubber Band Man. Like it has to be just like that old Pittsburgh Pirates closer from like the 70s. Like that's got to be it. But man. I know you guys. I've been on for a minute. I know you guys got a line behind me, so I'll leave you.
We appreciate the conversation, man. We appreciate you calling in.
Awesome,
yeah,
appreciate you, Jake.
All right,
awesome. Let's keep it rolling. We got Did
you get to the
super chats?
Yeah, let's do them after.
Yeah. All right, let's go to. We got Breaking Glenjamin on next. What is up?
What's going on?
Hey, guys.
Look at that view.
Yep.
Beauty.
That is.
There it is. You know what else we got a good view of out here?
What's
Check
that?
it out.
Oh.
Oh, that's Perez.
They still got him right in front of
I
the
love
entrance.
it. Is that a sign? Is he coming back at some point? We don't. Hey,
I checked. I didn't know what happened to him. I checked the transactions. It's like outright at AAA Norfolk.
He's been there for a little while now. Yeah,
I was gonna say he's still trucking there. He's trying his best.
And I'm glad it was only a 2-hour and 8-minute game tonight because it's still pretty muggy out here.
How was the weather? Give us a weather report.
At least the sun wasn't blaring down.
Yeah.
But it was hot. It's going to be a scorcher tomorrow too. But I'll be out here. Gotta support the team. It was a great game tonight. I got a little worried when. Let's see what happened. We got that the bases loaded bunt, and then we only scored one run.
Yeah, because it was the bases loaded bunt, and then we got I think it was.
I was like, no, not again.
Yeah, that's when it started getting a little like, please not this. Like, please not. Don't be another situation where we look back and we're like, damn, we should have had at least 4 more runs there, and that's the difference.
I know.
Yep. We're almost at the halfway mark. I think if we can win these next 2 series, we'll be in good shape.
Yeah, just keep chipping.
I was sad about the Tampa New York series. We should have had 4. Should have had 4 out of 7. 4 out of 7 against good teams. That's how you win the World Series. That's not how you get to the World Series, but that's how you win it.
Yeah, it's missed opportunities.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think this team can beat any team in 7 games. You know, it might take 7 games, but it wouldn't surprise me. But we got to get there.
They've got the talent. It's whether or not they can put it all together. You know, it's whether or not it shows up, because you see games like tonight where it's like they can beat anyone. You know, hell, you see games when they go and beat Max Fried in New York, and you're like, oh, this team can beat anyone, and then they almost get no hit the next game. So it's like if they could just decide to be a good team, would be fun.
You guys gonna be here on Bobblehead Day?
No, we'll actually be up in Hollywood Casino for Ryan Ripken's show. We'll be talking with a few Orioles legends and a few Orioles and Nationals legends. So we're gonna have to miss that one, unfortunately.
That's awesome. I got you. Yeah, I'll be here all week, so I'll be calling in again. But y'all have a good night, and Birdland, stay hopeful.
Stay hopeful.
Love the hope. Love the hope.
Appreciate you as always.
All right.
guys.
Appreciate you.
I love that. And Kevin, if you want to go through, I got the first 2. So I got the first 2. While you do that, I'm gonna have a sip of my Trevor Rogers. Got check. That's some bubbleage. Yeah, that's some bubbleage. That's enough bubbleage.
Right. So you already got to Walter and the Big Fizz. You got those 2.
Yeah. So Walter has a second one that I did not get to.
I only see one from Walter.
Oh well, this one for Walter. Walter, appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Walter. Elias is really good at under the radar moves like Laureano Carlson. The bigger moves are hit and miss. Yeah, and I mean it's not like all those smaller moves work and the under the radar moves work, but I give him a lot of credit. He trucks along with those moves, and you know it's how O'Hearn is on this team. It's
Michael. Oh no, continue.
I was just gonna list off guys.
I was gonna say Michael Elias is the biggest wait and see transaction guy of all time.
Yeah. I mean, remember we were joking about it. There was every day before the year started, he was DFAing someone and trading cash considerations for another. It was like what 8 straight days or whatever with a move like that.
Literally, it was like every single day you'd wake up and the Orioles who was oh my god! And every single year there's always one guy who ends up on the transaction line. It's always Levon Soto. Levon Soto frequents the trade. Or the DFA waivers a good 6-7 times over the offseason. That man is always either coming or going with us. But Kevin, real fast, my sip to you know what? We'll just go with this. Might be really bad.
It probably I'm not gonna be shocked if it is.
No,
I feel like your threshold is lower though. I feel like you're not picky.
Okay, Kevin.
Do you appreciate the fine alcohol in life?
Oh.
Yeah, see? No. What I'm saying.
And I got the AC on. It's just an undershirt.
Okay.
But here, let's go to our next guy. Keep it trucking on. We got Steve. Steve.
Yes, I'm free.
Not yet.
Steve, how we doing?
Hey, Mr. Bollinger, take a bow.
Thank
you called it yesterday on the post game.
I did. I said quality start. We'd be talking.
And correct me if I'm wrong. No double plays hit into?
No. Which they had opportunities, and I thought they were coming. I very much was like, here's come. When they had bases loaded, no outs, I was like, they want to hit one right now. It's like, I know they want to hit one.
But excuse me, Trevor Rogers of all people?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe I didn't know what I was watching half the time, Steve. I was sitting there and I'm like, what do you mean? He would get through an inning in 7 pitches and I'd be like, is it
right?
What am I watching?
Rub the glasses. This really
did we get Max Fried suddenly and I didn't notice?
And here's the thing. If Rogers doesn't throw 21 pitches in the first inning, he's getting a complete game shutty.
Yeah,
Crazy
which is so
about.
It's so funny to even, like you said, crazy to think about. But for him to, let's even talk about this, 21 pitches in the first, yes, it's 3 up, 3 down, but very easily you can let that spiral into suddenly you're sitting at 85 pitches in the fourth. Like that can spiral pretty quickly. For him to be like, nope, stops there. Impressive.
He locked in after that first inning, and it seemed like boom, 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 3 up, 3 down, getting the offense back at the plate.
Yeah, and which I mean helps the offense. And it's also not only does it help the offense. Do you know poor Patrick Corbin? He would get out of like a 20-pitch inning, sit down, and Trevor Rogers 3 pitches later is like, "You're back up, dude. You're back up.
Right.
Come on,
No rest. No
your turn
rest.
again, dude." Like, it's got to be demoralizing.
By the way, longest I believe, and I heard this on the Masson broadcast watching in the Discord, longest shutout start since Bradish in 23.
Yeah, in the regular season.
So
Oh yeah. No, it's just total. Yeah, no, longest shot. Yeah,
Because I know Burns went 8 in the postseason, but
yeah,
that
but he
wasn't
gave
a
up the one.
shutout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he gave up the one.
I mean, Charlie Morton's got a lot to live up to tomorrow night.
Well, he's been doing it recently, so I mean, look. I said it earlier. The fact that we are in a reality where Trevor Rogers and Charlie Morton are pitching these gems, and Zach Eflin is the one that's struggling is just so backwards. It is so Orioles.
It really is. But one defensive play nobody's been talking about. How about that Gunner sliding catch out in like left center?
Good for Gunner. Good for Gunner.
Masson was like acting like even Masson was acting like it was a routine. Like it was like and pop up, but like said he should come in and get. Oh, Gunner grabbed it. Like he didn't just make an over the shoulder like sliding back. They're like up Ben, but it was because I think the story was Trevor Rogers, where it was just like, and Trevor Rogers another out somehow. Okay, here we go. Like it was such a weird game. Like Chadwick, if you would have told me, hell, a week and a half ago, we were getting Trevor Rogers pitching an 8-inning shutout to Chadwick Tromp, I don't know what I'd be like, okay, like how did this occur? Like how did we get to this point? If you told me this before the season, I think the fans would not be very pleased. They would be like, what do you mean?
And can they stop hitting our catchers?
We're gonna run out.
Hanley yesterday, Sanchez tonight.
And in the hand too. That's the thing. It's like if you hit him in the back, you hit him in the back, I'll take the base. All right. He'll probably feel that in the morning when he wakes up, but we'll take the base. Hitting in the hand, I've seen so many. How many guys have we held? Colton Cowser. Like how many guys have we seen that then have to miss months after that?
Too many. And all I'm gonna say is I hope Manzolino watched tonight. If he can run out the same kind of lineup tomorrow like he did tonight, we're putting up double digits.
Yeah.
I don't care who Texas puts on the mound. We're putting up double digits.
Yeah, this lineup, they passed the baton. They knew what to do, and they just continued to let it go. You know, it was no double plays. And I think you even put in the chat, besides Jackson's home run, it was all small ball. You know, it was all finding a way, bunts, sack flies, singles.
I was about to bring up the Cowser bunt. That was perfectly placed and executed.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, legitimately as
beautiful.
Perfect as you get.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was awesome.
God. Steve, you know what? Tomorrow we're talking after a Charlie Morton quality start. Let's
call it again.
Okay.
Let's
double down. Hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're getting Charlie Morton.
I'm hopefully on cloud 9 tomorrow night after a Morton masterclass.
Let's do it, Steve. Let's do it. Appreciate you as always. We'll catch you next time.
Appreciate you, Steve.
Awesome.
And we got a couple of new members.
Yeah, and then real fast, like I actually talked about this. I kind of actually went on a rant about this earlier. Kobe Mayo was making some scoops today at first that had me standing up.
Yeah. Well, we got Gordon's back.
Gordon's back,
Remember, appreciate you, Gordon. And then TFC, I saw him shout me out too. Appreciate you, TFC, for becoming a member. I'm hosting a national show though, Lockdown Sports today, and I got my interview in like 15 minutes, so I gotta go prep for.
Yeah, you go do your thing. I'm gonna take on last few callers.
Yeah,
talk about this show.
I don't even know who my Oriole is. Sammy Sosa.
I love it.
Let's get controversial in here.
I love it.
I low-key almost hit end stream instead of just exiting out of the tab.
If you would have just ended,
it's so natural to me whenever I'm done with something is to hit end stream. So I'm glad I didn't do it. I'm glad I didn't do it.
I don't even know if I would have. Like, do we even restart?
No. Well, I didn't do it, so we don't have to talk about it because I didn't do it. So, all right. I'll talk to everybody later.
Don't end the stream.
No,
don't end the stream.
All right. Peace out.
You have a good one, Kevin. Let's keep the calls going. We got B Ravens up next. B Ravens, what's going on, my guy?
Hey, great quality start by Rodgers.
What a start.
8 innings of work, only 3 hits given up, no earned runs.
Yeah.
I feel like every year they have like that one pitcher that just comes out of nowhere and pitches well for them. Last year was Suarez. The year before was Bose. Is Rodgers this year's pitcher that nobody expects?
I hope. Man, I hope, because if he can keep this up, talk about a massive addition for this rotation and when they need it, because you need your pitchers to start doing well if you're going to make this comeback, and it starts with guys like Trevor Rodgers doing this stuff.
Yeah, and also it makes things a lot more interesting because when you look at like the starting rotation going late into the year, then the questions become like, okay, what do we do about Zach Eflin? Do we keep or trade him? Do we DFA Charlie Morton? What happens there? Do we DFA him? Do we see what we can get out of a trade? Because to make room for guys like Kyle Bradish, Tyler Wells, and Grayson Rodriguez and Cade Povich. So eventually those guys will be back. So the question is who's going to be in your rotation late into the year?
I think, unfortunately, for a guy like Povich, I think he's the first to go simply because of options. If he is not pitching extremely well, I think they have no issue just kind of sending him to Norfolk and being like, hey, you'll be in the rotation next year. I think guys like Eflin, Sugano, and Morton, it all comes down to where we are at the deadline. If they're still 10, 12 games back, you're hovering, then I think you do see those guys to make room. You're okay with trading those guys. But, man, if you're 3-4 games back, I mean, Zach Eflin, I know the last few starts haven't been great, but he's been your bulldog. Sugano, the last few starts haven't been great. He's also been, a bulldog for you. Kramer's been good in big games. I don't think they'd move on from him. And then Charlie Morton, you've won these last 5 starts. So it's like it does put you in an interesting position because what do you do? If you are just a few games back, I think Povich is an easy guy to send down. But after that, it does get interesting because if a Kyle Bradish comes back in August and you do have this rotation, I don't know who else would. I mean, because you don't want to send Trevor Rodgers down if he's pitching well, especially with that because he's a lefty, you want to show that look. It changes a lot if these guys can. If these guys really crawl back into this thing, I think the only guarantee, unfortunately, is Povich gets sent down simply because he has options, and they can.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think that at some point later this year, they are going to have to make that decision. You want to keep at least one lefty in the rotation. And that one lefty will come down to Rodgers or Povich. And whoever's pitching better will stay in the rotation and the other one gets option. Because both have options. So you could either keep Rodgers and option Povich or keep Povich and option Rodgers. And the question is now who do you keep between the two? Because Eflin doesn't have an option. I believe Kramer has an option. So that
Yeah,
could
I don't know if they get rid of Dean just because of here. Let me pull up. I think they like Dean's. He's just been kind of the stopper for them, and he's actually got the most wins on the team. So I don't think they send him down. Does Dean have? Yeah, Dean has one option. Rogers has two, but those are the only two guys right now that do have options on this team.
Yeah, and then the other guys in the rotation all have expiring contracts at the end of the year anyway. So
Yeah,
and
the only guys I think that would get moved trade wise would be Eflin, Sugano, or and I just don't. I don't know of the three which one you trade right now. I think Morton honestly has the most value of the guys for your bang for your buck because you trade him. I don't think you were going to extend him. I don't think that's on the table. I think extending Eflin's still on the table, and I think extending Sugano's still on the table. So if you're going to get rid of one, I'd rather you trade and see if you can get some, shot in the dark prospects for Morton and just go from there.
Yeah, I think when you look at the starters, I think Sugano's stage at the end that we talked about last time, the Japanese connection. They want to have that guy in the rotation that's international, that you can connect with Japanese league and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think he stays. I think Eflin and Morton, I think it just depends on how they're performing at the deadline. Whether they're performing well enough that you can trade them, or whether they're not performing well enough to where they're probably just staying in rotation just because we need depth. Because at some point, at some point, you're going to need to make room.
Yeah.
Bradish is going to obviously be one of your top guys in the rotation when he's back. And Wells has experience both as a starter and as a reliever. So both of those guys are obviously going to be.
Yeah, I think Wells is going to be a big. If he can come back and this team is in it, I think he's a big wild card because he can be good out of the bullpen or the rotation, like you said. I think Wells is a wild card where it's like, okay, if he comes back, it doesn't just have to be a bullpen or a starting position. It can be one or the other. He can go do both. And hell, we've seen him. There were times where I was saying Tyler Wells has to be the closer. And there have also been times where Tyler Wells has been our best starter for periods of time, at a time. So I think it is going to be interesting to see what happens come July, but it all depends on where they are. If they're still in it, then I think they're going to sit pat. Maybe they would trade a Morton, but I just don't think if they're in it, I don't think they're going to get rid of any starters. I think I could see them trying to get one to make a little bit of a push, but losing starters, I don't think is going to be the answer.
Yeah, I think with Wells, I could see him if they keep Bautista. I think Wells is the setup man for Bautista. I could see him in that 7th, 8th inning setup man for Bautista to come in.
Yeah, it's going to be, and I think it also brings that versatility of if you start on go long and you can go out there and give Wells a hey, go give us 4 innings, he can.
Yeah, they also like their 4 or 5 inning long relievers. They've had Cole Irvin, they've had Austin Bose, they've had they had someone else, Bowman. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
they've had those long relievers that can spot start every once in a while. So, and I think they'll keep Wells around just because he can be that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they really like Wells and just all he brings to the team. But B Ravens, appreciate you calling in. We're going to see what happens as the trade deadline gets closer. If this team's in it, I think that they could. They're going to have some options to make or some decisions to make. So B Ravens, appreciate you as always, and we'll set you hopefully after a win tomorrow.
Yep.
Also, have a great one. Well, let's keep it rolling. We got our guy Gordon up next. Gordon, what's going on? Oh, you're muted.
All right, what's going on, my guy? How you feeling today?
I'm doing well. Good after Trevor Rogers' 8-inning shutout. How are you doing?
As always. Who expected that, eh? Who expected that? Like that felt
even good. In my wildest dreams, I didn't think we were getting 8 shutout from Trevor today.
like I haven't been watching the games lately because for some reason I feel like when I watch the Orioles, like those are the games that we get one hit, two hits. We just cannot do anything. And when I don't watch the game, then that's when it's like 6-0 Trevor Rogers ball and 5-3 against the Yankees. And then as soon as I start watching, we're up 2-1, and then Brian Baker comes in and blows the lead, and it's just like, you know what? I'll follow it after, and then I'll just let the game happen. I'll follow it after, and that's kind of what's been happening. So I haven't been able to fully watch the games because superstitions are real, and I want to help this team. I want to help this team win. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy we got a win today. I just kind of get a little bit skeptical about the consistency. I just want that consistency to be more. And granted, yes, we've been more consistent with, getting wins, but I wish we were a little bit more consistent. And granted, we were playing the Yankees, but I like who's starting for us tomorrow. We don't even know who's starting for us tomorrow.
No, Charlie Morton is.
Oh, Charlie Morton.
Yeah,
no,
we don't know who's starting for.
Yeah.
We don't know who's starting for the Rangers.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my take on today. I really didn't get to watch it, but
Gordon, if you not getting to watch it much means we're gonna come out with a win, you keep doing what you're doing.
As that's literally how I feel. I feel bad because it's like, dang, I really want to watch this team, but I mean, shoot, if I'm watching him, it's like we're going up there just striking out at every ball and just giving up 8 runs an inning, and it's just like we're having 8 runs in one inning and can't score for the rest of the game. Yeah, I'll take my chances and not watch it. I want to see this team, and I want to watch the highlights of this team in October. So
Gordon, you know what? If we make it that far and you're still committed to not watching, more power. I don't know how I would be able to sit still.
Look, if that actually works out, I will literally, like, I'm just giving it this little span for right now. Hopefully, that's really not true, but that's really how I felt the last couple times I watched the game. It just was like we were there. Like the last games that I watched from start to finish were the losses, and the games that I did not watch were the games that we won. And I started thinking, I'm like, and it's like the games that we won, I would turn it on, and then I would see it be like 3-1, and then we'll have bases loaded, no outs, and then as soon as I watch it, strike out, pop up, fly out, and I'll be like, you know what? Let me turn it off real quick. So that's kind of what happened earlier today. It was we had bases loaded, and I turned the game on and tried looking at it, and I'm like, you know what? All right, and then Cedric pops up, and then what happened after the strike?
It was I think Cedric popped up, and then after I think Trump struck out.
Yeah, or Laureano, because I think he got mad and tossed his bat or something. And I was like, you know what? Let me turn this game off. So keep this going. So I was like, yeah. So if this keeps going, this is, be something to talk about.
Hey, it could be fun. It could be fun, Gordon. Man, you know what? I hope we can keep making this run so we can at least put a little pressure on you to see if you're the real savior of this team.
Oh, trust me. You'll most definitely hear about it for a while. But hey, look, before I go, I just want to, spread some love. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on out in this world. Enjoy life and, enjoy these Orioles and just, enjoy being out in the air and, and it's too much negativity in this world going on right now. And I just, always look forward to after an Oriole game coming and talk to you guys and not worry about that stuff. But, so yeah, just show some love to somebody if you can. Tell somebody you love them. Tell your loved ones you love them. So, yeah.
Love that, Gordon. Appreciate always brightens my day getting to talk to you as well.
Yes, sir.
Glad you're doing well and couldn't have said it better myself. Hopefully we're talking after an Orioles win soon, Gordon.
Yes.
Awesome, but appreciate you as always,
All right,
my man. You keep grinding. Appreciate you. I'll catch you next time.
Too. Yeah.
Appreciate you. You know what? I love that, Gordon. I love that. That was awesome. Yeah, let's head into our potentially last call. We got Steven behind the screen. Steven, what's up, my man?
An Orioles win. That's what's up, thankfully.
Yeah, and man, does it feel good.
It does. Shout out to Trevor Rogers for twirling the damn pill. And shout out to Jackson Holiday for getting us 4 ribbies. We always appreciate that.
Yeah. Gosh, did we appreciate that, especially on nights like tonight. I mean, I think he was the first 4 RBIs. So, I mean, it got a little, they extended it at the end, but Jackson Holiday for a minute, it was the Jackson Holiday and Trevor Rogers show tonight.
Oh, love it. Love it, man. More of Jackson Holiday and Trevor Rogers show, please.
Please.
But, you love to see it, and with all the injuries mounting up, you're just kind of like, you don't want that shoe to drop. Matt Holliday might get kind of mad at that. It's just like, what are you guys doing? It's just, no, come on, Matt. That wasn't us. It's not our reverse voodoo magic here going on. But I want to piggyback on something Gordon said, because I had a Braves fan from a few years ago who was all over the place, and he didn't watch the World Series from a few years ago, and then he went on Twitter and said, "Hey, guess what, Orioles fan or Braves fans? I didn't watch the World Series. You can thank me for us winning it."
So, you know what? It's only crazy if it doesn't work.
There's a lot of crazy baseball superstitions out there, and I'm gonna say it: voodoo magic happens in baseball. So
it does. It's one of those sports where there are other sports where I'm like, it doesn't. There's something about baseball. Like if you don't, you step on the white line, you do something, it'll find its way to a humble.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
All those silly rituals, the Soto shuffles, the toe taps, it's a thing.
Yeah, it's wild. Baseball is the most superstitious sport you will ever come across. It is genuinely crazy, and every player has different ones. Whether it's like some guys will be like, I mean, we've seen some gross things where guys will be like, yeah, I'm on this 15-game hitting streak, so I haven't washed my underwear. And you're like, okay, like whatever works, I guess.
All the myriad of Cubs things that happened to them before they won it after 108. You're just about time. We never thought you'd get over the black cat thing, but
you did it.
But
gosh, superstitions in baseball are incredible.
They're a sight to behold. So I've got a question here. Pertains to our trade deadline coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think our front office is going to be more motivated by whether or not they believe in the coaches we have in place currently, or more whether we're closer to being in the wild card race than not?
I think it's going to be about how close they are to the wild card race, because I think they do have faith that these coaches can kind of, at least this year, get it there. I don't know if it's going to be, long term, but I think they do believe that this coaching staff can kind of put the pieces, if they're given, in the right spot and kind of go from there. I don't think they're going to be like, oh, we don't want to go for it necessarily. Now, I don't think we're getting any massive moves, but I could see them getting, trading for a small, maybe getting a low-end pitcher, trying to see if that works, something like that. I don't think they're going to make any like, oh, they're getting, the top guys on the market or anything like that.
I think top guys in the market are off limits unless you unless you've zeroed in on your guy and you've kind of gotten okay, yeah, we know who our next manager is going to be. We're talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
But because then again, I think that goes back to the quality of manager you get. Like, I think if you get a good to like say a B+ on up manager,
mm-hmm.
They're going to want to bring their own like coaches in. No.
Yeah.
Or,
for the most part.
So that's why that's why I brought up the coaches thing. And it's, if they do trust their own guys and do keep them, and go with, say, somebody that's not in that is not known in terms of like people we've heard about.
Yeah.
You kind of wonder, like, if these coaches aren't it, do we lose another year? You know, it's not to say they can't do it. I know they're young, but that's just the thing. At this point in our rebuild, do you really want coaches that are young? Wouldn't you prefer a guy like, why go with young coaches to begin with? I get why, because organizationally, you're like, oh yeah, we trust these guys. They've been in the org for a while, but they've never been like Major League Baseball coaches. Yeah. So my counterpoint to that would be just that. It's like at this point in the rebuild, going with young coaches is kind of a bad move. Or
I think this, especially for where they are, I think they need a veteran. I think they need a guy who's been there, done that. You know, veteran voice in the locker room. Because I do think with such a young team, you kind of need that, you know, older veteran coach who's a manager that's been there. He's seen it all. He knows how to get these guys through the struggles, through the ups, through the downs. He's not learning on the fly with them. It felt like, you know, Orioles, all these guys have their first ever, you know, playoff game, and so is Brandon Hyde. So it's like, you know, everyone was experiencing everything together. And hey, if they make it to the ALCS, it'll be everyone's first time experiencing that. So it was like, okay, we need someone who's almost been there, be the veteran coach, be the manager that comes in and kind of sets things straight.
And I feel like I'm going to go back to the Cubs for just a second, but I feel like Ben Zobrist was perfect for that for the Cubs that year. He had been with the Rays, I think, once, if I remember correctly. But like, and I think Ryan O'Hearn, I know he hasn't, I don't think he's been to greater heights than, say, a DS, but I feel like he's that for us. And it's kind of hard to just go like, yeah, I'd hate to trade him. I'd love for him to be extended. Same with Mullins and Eflin and Sagano. But I'm just wondering about, like, I definitely agree that they do need a veteran, but I'm going to go back to, who do you think that not necessarily, okay, I'm losing track here. Point is, do you think they need a veteran coach more than they need like a veteran player to stay on staff? Or do you think they need both?
I would like both. I think having both is the best of both worlds. I think if you can have a veteran who's running the coaching staff, he's managing, he's calling the shots, he knows what he's doing, he's been there, done that, but also having, like you said, a veteran player, guys who are there, who have played in these big games, who can sit there and talk to the young guys and be like, hey, this is how you get through it. It's just another game. Here's what we're doing. This is how we get through it. This is my experience. I think having both is super beneficial, because you have the manager who can run things, tell people, here's how we're doing this. This is what we're doing. They also have the player that's like, can sit and talk on a more personal level with his teammates, being like, hey, I know you got the ball tomorrow. Like, here's what we do. Here's, you know, this is what we got. This is what we expect in these big moments. Calm yourself early. Let's do this beforehand. And I think that goes a long way.
Oh, of course. And, okay, so to touch on, like, from the player perspective, anytime like an incident has occurred this year, I've seen like all of our veterans on our team be the first out there.
Yep.
And that's great to see. I love that. Anytime like somebody's gotten hit or somebody, like an incident's occurred on the field, like I think it was, I forget who was caught sliding. I think it was Mayo. And then like he popped up and had like, got angry with somebody, and all the veterans came out, and then it was like Westberg was like the fourth or fifth guy out.
Yeah, it was like O'Hearn, Eflin, and Mateo were the first ones out there or something. Yeah.
Veterans. And I love to see that. And I also would love to see that, more of that in the postseason. But what I'm curious about is, do we see like we love our veteran leaders. We love our veteran leader coaches. Do we see a veteran or like a leader developing among our young core, or is it too early to see that or know that that's developing now?
I think they would love for it to be Adley. I don't know if it is Adley. I think that's the guy that they would love for it to be Adley. I think they would, if in their mind, if there's a guy that they want to hand the, reins off to, I think it'd be Adley. I'm seeing Westberg in here. I think Westberg could be a 2. He's kind of that silent, he's not going to be rah-rah, but he's going to lead by example. He's going to be that kind of leader. I think they would love for Gunnar to be it. I don't know if it's Gunnar right now. If I had to point to someone that would have the best chance, I'd say it's Adley, but I don't know if it's, necessarily if he's got the personality to be, he's kind of also a reserved guy. And I don't know if they have right now out just in the young guys, it probably would be a Westberg, personally. I feel like he's kind of that guy who is just, he's all business all the time, because there's no one that jumps off like a Ryan O'Hearn, like a Cedric Mullins, where I point and I go, there's the leader for the young guys. The veterans have, and, in their defense, 4 years ago, I didn't say Cedric Mullins was a leader that I do now. So he developed into that. So I think that's what it's all about as well, is going through the ups and downs and becoming that leader.
And Seti definitely did call that players meeting, or that position players meeting. So I love to see that, especially from a guy not a whole lot of people in the industry seem to think is going to be around here past the trade deadline, let alone this off season, which is a shame. Yeah. He should be here long term, because that's the guy. That's your Chris Taylor from the Dodgers, where you're just like, that's the guy. He's been here. He's been through all the crap, all the losses and everything. That's the guy. Same with like O'Hearn. If you need like a intense energy guy, I feel like O'Hearn, even if he's not outwardly that, you take one look at him and it's like, dang, that's your bulldog position player. And I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but I get a weird feeling from like this front office that they're looking for a leader, and sooner or later, if they don't see it from this young core, they may start to look outside and go like, yeah, we need more veteran leaders. And because these kids just, for some reason, it's like we love to see our veterans go out there and, be the calming presence on the field when something goes awry. But we also want it to be one of you kids, and for some reason that's not happening. But it's also, I think there's a lot of turmoil in that front office that we may or may not be seeing play unfold this year. And it's hard to know, like what B Ravens were talking about a bit ago with the trade deadline. It's hard to know what's about to happen at the trade deadline, because there's a lot of noise being thrown out there from the industry, like, oh, hey, Sagano's gone, Eflin's gone, Mullins is gone. It's like, it's hard to 100% know that, because is Mike Elias gone? Is he the right guy to lead us through this trade deadline? A lot of people, local reporters, seem to think, hey, he's here till 2026, and then they make the decision after the 2026 season. So somebody's hearing something. So if he's given this trade deadline and beyond, I think we kind of got to live with all this noise and stuff for a while. And I think that's going to, if that's the case, if Elias is here through the 2026 season, I think a couple vets are traded. I think, unfortunately, Mullins is maybe gone, and I don't think it matters how close they are. Kind of like what's his face? He was on foul territory. What's his name?
O'Hearn?
No, they were talking about it on a foul territory of like a week ago.
Or
Jim Bowen was talking about it, saying we need to keep an open mind, and all the fans in Baltimore need to just sit back and relax here. It's like, consider it a lost season, but also you still got a bright future. It's just you need to get all your ducks in a row in that front office.
Yeah, and
everything
is doing exactly that. Is you need to. I like what you said with the noise, and like they've got some big decisions. and they're going to be under a microscope with each and every one of these decisions that they make at the end of July. You know, whether it's good or bad, it is going to be under a microscope. You know, if they trade Sugano, if they trade Eflin, if they trade Morton, if they trade O'Hearn, they trade Seti, whatever they do there, it's going to be under a microscope. Who they get back, is it helping development? Are they trying to win? And I think that's where we kind of are going to have to live with the next year or so, is in that kind of, with all the noise of, hey, is this the guy? Because there is going to be chatter 24/7 about, is Elias the guy? Who are they going to sign to be the manager? What is it going to be? What's it going to look like in July? Hell, what's it going to look like in December? And then when we come back here in April?
Hell, I'll counterpoint and say, who can they even get as manager? Because at this point, like, we've only heard of David Ross and Flaherty and who is it? Schumacher, who's apparently the heir apparent in Texas. So, and I keep rolling around in my head, can we even get them? Are they even gettable for us with as much?
Mark DeRosa is a big one people want. I think they're going to be managers. I know some people think that managers aren't going to come to Baltimore, but I mean, if you get an opportunity to coach this young core, I think people are going to see the opportunity. You know, I think there's going to be, you offer guys, hey, do you want to come be the leader of this core of this 101 win team 2 years ago? Hey, they won 90 games and were in the playoffs last year. I mean, they're fighting this year. You know, we'll see what happens there. But I think there's going to be a lot of interest outside of managers wanting to get their shot in Baltimore, because you can go to, there are a lot of really bad teams out there looking for some managers.
Yeah, the Rockies come to mind.
Yeah, like you can get the Pirates, you can get the Rockies, or you can come have Gunnar, Jackson Holiday, Westberg. Like you have your lineup set, you know, and I think that's going to be, you still have Basayo coming up. You still have all these guys, and hell, 3 first-round picks this year. You know, they have the talent. I think guys are going to start lining up. But Steven, it's like we just talked about. It's going to start this, you know, at the trade deadline and kind of go from there. But Steven, appreciate you calling in. My guy, love talking baseball with you. And hopefully we can talk more after some Orioles wins coming up.
More wins, boys. Just stack them.
Let's do it. Steven, appreciate you. Awesome. You know, it's gonna be interesting to see where we stand in a month from now, in 4 months from now, and in 9 months from now. So lot to take into consideration, but one thing I do know, Orioles come away with the win tonight, 6-0. 8 shutout innings from Mr. Trevor Rogers. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. O's win 6-0, like I just said. We're back tomorrow, 6:35 start time against the Rangers. Charlie Morton on the bump. See if the O's can take 2 straight, win a series, set yourself up so we can be talking brooms tomorrow. But that's going to do it for this edition of Kevin and Zach React. Fun time, you know, 90-minute stream. It's been fun. I'm having fun. We're having fun talking about an Orioles win. Appreciate every single one of you for still tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Connor Norby, worst trade in Orioles history.